Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are unpacking a truly compelling, absolutely no-holds-barred source text that draws a direct line between your physical vitality and your mental fortitude. We're going to walk through it together, slide by slide, to uncover a holistic philosophy of life. It's all centered around a pretty demanding physical practice, and it's capped off with some timeless maxims for success. Really, it lays out this fascinating roadmap for building an totally unbreakable mind and body.
So here's our agenda for today. First, we'll look at the true meaning of health. Second, the steps to master Shirshasana. Third, the physical and mental benefits. Fourth, crucial rules and precautions. And finally, timeless wisdom for success. Let's just dive right in. Section 1. The true meaning of health.
Okay, so the source text we're looking at today doesn't exactly ease us in. It kicks things off with this bold, highly philosophical, and honestly almost confrontational stance on human health and personal accountability. It explicitly says, humans, not God, are the creators of their diseases. According to this text, if you neglect your body and then turn around and blame fate or the divine, well, that's just unjust. The author argues that merely not being sick is absolutely not the same thing as being healthy. True health means radiating energy, strength, and vitality. In fact, the text makes this incredibly striking assertion. Being born into this world and remaining weak is essentially a crime against yourself. Avoiding this crime by actively building your strength is, according to the source, your master key to happiness.
To really drive this point home, the text sets up a pretty stark comparison. On one side, you've got a healthy, robust commoner living in a tiny, modest hut, but they are experiencing this profound joy and contentment. On the other side, picture a wealthy, powerful king living in a massive palace, but he's riddled with disease and completely unable to enjoy any of those luxuries. The source uses this visual to issue a really stern warning. Whenever an individual, or even a whole nation, chooses indulgence, luxury, and sleep over vitality, the results are just disastrous. So the call to action here is clear. Wake up, step into the light, and actively build a strong body and a powerful mind. Because, as the text argues, without that powerful mind, no truly great work can ever be accomplished.
Section 2. Steps to master Shirshasana.
So how do we actually apply this philosophy? Well, the text's main solution for achieving this physical strength and intense mental concentration is yogopchar, yoga therapy. Specifically, it points to the mastery of Shirshasana, the headstand. The author lays out some highly specific mechanics for getting into this pose safely. Step 1, you always start by placing a soft cloth or a cushion right on the ground. Step 2, interlock your fingers. Step 3, place your head on the ground securely between your hands. And step 4, slowly, and slowly is the absolute key word here, raise your legs until you are completely inverted. The author strongly advises that if you can't do this alone at first, you literally must use a wall for support or get someone to spot you. Trying to do this without a soft base or proper support right out of the gate is practically guaranteeing an injury. Not to mention, you'll probably end up kicking over a lamp in your living room.
Now, this is fundamentally an endurance game, and the source maps out a very disciplined, specific timeline. You don't just jump right into holding this pose forever. For the first 12 days, you hold it for a maximum of 3 minutes. Over the next 25 days, you work your way up to 6 minutes. It takes a full 100 days of consistent practice to reach the 10-minute mark. Ultimately, depending on your strength, the final goal the text sets is holding the pose for a massive 30 to 40 minutes a day. There's also a special note here. If you happen to have a heavier body type, the text says you should start at just 2 minutes on day 1 and then increase it by merely 1 or 2 minutes daily. That ensures your progress is smooth and you don't harm yourself.
Section 3. Physical and mental benefits.
If you do dedicate yourself to that rigorous timeline, what exactly is the payoff? Well, the source gives us an extensive, almost miraculous list of transformations. But there is one major caveat. The author claims that the true benefits of Shirshasana only really start to kick in after you can comfortably hold the pose for 10 full minutes. Physically, the text claims this practice dramatically sharpens your eyesight, even suggesting that people might not need their glasses anymore. It also claims to strengthen the elbows, wrists, and arms, improve digestion, spark a healthy appetite, and cure ailments ranging from boils and foot burning to insomnia. It even makes the incredibly bold claim that it can turn white hair black again. I mean, if that's true, it would totally put hair dye companies out of business, right? Mentally, that intense rush of blood is said to bring profound joy, boundless enthusiasm, pure thoughts, and an absolute sense of fearlessness.
And that brings us to the ultimate milestone in the text, the number 6. The source asserts that if you practice Shirshasana for 30 to 60 minutes daily for exactly 6 continuous months, it will completely purify the body's 7 dhatus. These are the fundamental tissues of the body, like your blood, muscle, fat, and bone. By achieving this total bodily purification, the text claims you will ultimately, and significantly, increase your overall lifespan.
Section 4. Crucial Rules and Precautions.
Now, before you go turning upside down, we really have to look at the author's warnings. This is an advanced, highly intense physiological practice, and the author adopts a very grounded, cautionary tone for this section. There are strict protocols you need to follow to avoid severe harm. The text explicitly warns certain individuals against doing this at all. You must avoid Shirshasana if you experience high blood pressure, weak lungs or chest pain, throat issues, severe mental instability, or extreme physical weakness in your limbs. The author is also crystal clear that pregnant women and menstruating women must avoid this pose, and for anyone with pre-existing conditions, the source is absolute on this. You have to consult an experienced expert before even attempting it.
But perhaps the absolute most critical safety protocol in the entire text happens right after you finish. Immediately after coming down from the headstand, you must lie down completely flat on the ground with your limbs stretched out for a minimum of 5 minutes. Why? Well, the text explains the physiology. While you're inverted, blood is rushing intensely from your toes all the way down to your head and throat area. When you stand right back up, all that large volume of blood descends incredibly fast. If you don't lie flat to let your circulation normalize, you're risking severe dizziness, vertigo, or what the text describes as a dangerous shock of blood to your lungs and blood vessels. Bottom line, do not skip the resting phase.
Section 5. Timeless Wisdom for Success.
For the final section, the source text zooms out from the highly specific physical practice of yoga and concludes with something called Chuni Hui Batan, which basically translates to selected words or timeless maxims for navigating life, communication, and achievement. The very first major piece of advice here is all about the power of brevity. Quote, "Words are like leaves. Where they abound, the fruit of knowledge is rarely found." The author strongly advises that whatever you need to say or write, just do it concisely. Whether people fully understand you or not, the text argues that keeping your communication short and to the point is always the superior path. Over-explaining, that simply buries the actual wisdom.
Next up, the source delivers a pretty stark warning against distraction. A fickle mind, like water, prevents a person from rising high. Think about it. Just as water naturally flows down to the lowest possible point, a mind that lacks focus is going to drag you down in any pursuit, whether that's your fitness journey or your career. The text firmly believes that absolute, unwavering concentration is the fundamental prerequisite for any form of victory. Moving forward with constant momentum and an unshakable self-belief, that's what actually destroys those seemingly impossible obstacles.
And this really encapsulates the text's entire philosophy of mind over matter. Great actions cannot happen without great thoughts preceding them. Success, as the text notes, belongs to those who have courage and actually put in the work. It is never just handed to the cowardly. But remember, the physical work is always downstream of the mind. You absolutely have to cultivate a powerful, focused, and elevated state of mind before you can ever hope to execute monumental tasks out in the physical world.
Which brings us right back full circle to where we started today, leaving us with this final, really provocative thought. If weakness is truly a crime against oneself, and health isn't merely just the absence of disease, but the presence of radiant, vibrant energy, well, are you actively building your strength today, or are you just passively waiting for weakness to find you? It's definitely a powerful framework to reflect on. Thanks so much for exploring this intense source material with me here on The Explainer. I'll see you next time.